Hey all, hope you're doing great. This is Happy. Welcome back to the new coding recipe. In this video, we're going to learn about the cool stuff that we can do with Index.js while importing our React components. So before that, I just want to let you know, I took a long gap to make videos. So hopefully I'll be making 2 to 3 videos per month so that it would be consistent. That's a small update from my side. So yeah, let's dive in. As you can see here, I'm on my app.js and I'm having a component called atom1. And let's see what's there in atom1. I'm just having a text called atom1 and I'm calling in this app.js. So let's see the output. I'm having atom1. Okay, so in my atoms folder, I have something called index.js. So let me open this index.js and see what's there. So in this index.js, I have a component called boom and it is exporting by default. So let me reach to my app.js and import that boom from our components slash atoms slash index. I am mentioning the index file. So let me call boom. If I import and not using it, that won't show up in the output, right? So yeah, as we can see here, we are seeing this is boom. So let's come back to code and let me do something here. I'm actually removing the file name, what I mentioned, which is index.js or index. So I'm removing this index and I'm saving this. So what I should be getting? So I'm getting this is boom. But why I'm getting this is boom? I didn't mention any file, right? So why it is picking up index.js? So basically, if we give the path till the folder, or if we give the path till atoms, basically the name is atoms, anything. If we give the path till the folder, and in that folder, if there is something called index.js, that will be picking up by default. And in my index.js, I'm actually exporting a component called boom by default. That's the reason why I'm seeing here this is boom. Let me do something here. I am removing the atom1 file name and I just gave my path till atoms itself. So what will be the output? So I'm saying this is boom and this is boom. But the name here is actually saying atom1. But I am seeing this is boom. Why it is happening? So the reason is at here in my index.js, boom is been exporting by default. So if we are exporting something by default, while we are importing, we can name whatever we want. So I can name here happy also, and I can call happy. Because it is exporting by default, I have this extra advantage to name whatever I want. So I'm saying the same thing. This is boom twice. So this is because I am exporting by default. So let's come to this one, and this test is not exporting by default. So we know in a file we have only one component which will be exporting by default, and the rest of the components won't be exporting by default. So test is not exporting by default. So let me come to this one and put a comma, and we'll put in flower brackets or in braces which are not exporting by default, and let me do this test. I'm calling this. So let's go to the output. This is boom and test. Cool. So if I want to name the way I want, just like I'm doing for boom or happy, I'll be like writing lion here. Okay, and putting here. So this won't work because as you can see, attempted import error, lion is not exported from component slash atoms. So but it is actually exporting but not a default export. That's the reason why I can't name it the way I want, like I'm doing to this happy or boom. So to make it work, the only thing is we need to use a keyword called as has. So if we do this, then it will work the way I want. I can put the name way I want, but I can't do something like this. At here I am putting happy, and I can put like okay, parrot. So I can put parrot also, and I can call parrot from here. This will work fine because in my atoms level in the index.js, this is the default export, and whatever I'm importing here with any name, the default export will be called. But to be very specific, for the non-default exports, we need to write something like this. So we talked about imports and exports. So what's the exact use of index.js? So let me show it now. So I'm coming to this atoms index.js, and I'll remove this whole thing. Okay, and I'll import our atom one from atom one. Okay, let me pause the video and fill this up. As you can see here, I'm importing all my three atoms, atom 1, atom 2, atom 3 in my index.js, and at here I'm actually exporting only one default atom, which is atom 1. But if I want to return all these three atoms by default, what I can do, I can put it into an object. So I am putting it something like this: atom 1 comma atom 2 comma and atom 3. So in single object, I'm actually having all this atoms. So how will import, then how I will use this particular object? So just like an object. So at here, what did I mention? Let me not confuse you here. I'm commenting this part, and we don't have parrot for now. We have only lion. So yeah, so boom and lion. Okay, cool. So this is actually a default export, right? But right now we are exporting a object, not a component. So we need to change the naming convention. For a class, we'll start with the capital letter, but this is an object, so we should not put it a capital. Let's say small boom, or else I'll put it ATM. ATM is like atom, not like we draw money or something at here. So ATM, and I wrote ATM. So ATM is actually a object right now because we are exporting everything in a object. These are the imports and putting them into the object, and we're exporting that object as default. So at here ATM dot atom one, see, I'm getting that, and I can do the same thing again with atom 3. ATM dot, I'm getting the sessions in the VS Code. So yeah, ATM dot atom 3, and as we can see, where is the output? Atom 1, atom 3, and test. So why test is something like that? Because test is actually been exported as a non-default. That's the reason why test is as lion, and we are calling lion. So if you want to use that test also, simply you can do this. So comma test, and there could be a problem here, but that's fine because this test as lion is actually calling the test. Okay, this line is nothing but test, and I can put ATM dot, I can see test also. So we're actually exporting a couple of things as default. So that's the thing we can do with index.js. And you see, I'm not mentioning a specific file. I'm just mentioning the folder. I'm giving the path to the folder, and by default it picks up the index.js, and all these components are available in a single object, and you need not to have something like this at the level wherever you are using. You need not to write all these things. You can put all this in a index.js, and you can access everything from a object. Yeah, this is one style of the usage of index.js. So let me open this molecules, and I have something called helper molecules. So let me show this. So helper molecules is having index.js again, and in this we are having export default as an object, helper molecule 1, helper molecule 2, and helper molecule 3. So this is of helper molecule, and in the molecules index.js, what I'm having, helper molecules. So this is coming from the helper molecules index.js, and this is molecule 1, 2, 3. What I'm doing here, I'm spreading the helper molecules, nothing but I'm actually having all this. Let me open this, and let me open this. Yeah, I'm having all this in the helper molecules object, and I'm spreading that object. So I'm spreading the components, and I'm having molecule 1, 2, 3. So this is like nested, right? In my molecules, I have a separate folder. In that folder, I have some more components, but I'm putting them in a index.js, and this molecules is actually importing what? That helper molecules here, and we are spreading that. So the helper molecules and the molecules whole thing will be in one object. So let me come to app.js again. So this is so cool. We need not to worry about what sort of imports that we are doing. So molecules, so MVO, okay, MVOC, okay, and from components slash, okay, why it's going as quotes, okay, slash molecules. So let me come here. MOC dot C, I'm able to see helper molecule 123 and molecule 123. So this is so cool. Like you need not to worry about what sort of things you are importing. You'll have everything handy in one object. So this is how we can make our things easy while importing by using this index.js. I'll just re-explain this part. In my molecules, I have helper molecules. So in the molecules itself, I have index.js, and this index.js is actually having molecule 1, 2, 3 and having this export. Okay. And in my helper molecules, I have one more index.js. This is having helper molecule 1, 2, 3. I am exporting as default. So in this molecules index.js, I am actually importing that object and I'm spreading that object, nothing but I'm spreading the components. So at here, this is actually having molecule 1, molecule 2, molecule 3 and helper molecule 1, helper molecule 2 and helper molecule 3. That's the reason why if I just type MOC dot, I'm able to see all the three of helper molecules and all the three of molecules. So in this way, we can make our import so easy and cool so that you can use your atoms in one object and your molecules in one object, and you can use your organisms, or if you are like crazy you can put everything in one object, but I don't suggest you to do that because that will be a bit heavy for the usage, and also you might get confused like which index.js is giving what. So better be short, or better be having a small folder, and that folder will having all the imports in the index.js, and that index.js will be exporting as an object by default, and you will use by importing that particular object and putting this dot operator just like an object and calling the atom or calling the component. So this will be very smooth. So this is why index.js is so cool while importing your React components. So if you have any suggestions, okay, I'm sorry. If you have anything to say to me, so there is something for you in the end. So that's it.
Hope you enjoyed the coding recipe, and the things that I have shared are completely opinionated. If there is any modification or improvement, please drop it down in the comment section. So I will learn from them. We all can cook happy codes. And don't forget to call the YouTube's API by clicking on the subscribe button. And make those two boolean values to true by clicking on the like icon and the bell icon. And thank you again. We all cook happy codes.